Hey guys, I thought I would create this video for you so that you can understand what's going to be required for this project. Project 2 is the magazine project. Your magazine project needs to be based off of an actual publication. Let's talk about the different parts of the magazine project. Part 1, research and thumbnails. Let's tackle your research paper first. Your research paper must include the following for full credit. Information about the publication, that would be the type of publication, digital, physical, circulation, where is it circulated? If it's a physical copy, is it circulated all around the world? Is it circulated only in the UK? Is it only circulated in the US? Frequency, that would be how often it gets published. Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? Any sort of features that it has. One of the Photoshop magazines out there, sometimes they have CDs that have content. That's cool. So that would be a feature. Its target audience, demographics, psychographics. You want to make sure that you include both. Its competition, that would be magazines attracting the same audience. So for example, Road and Track and Car and Driver are both competitors. Its current look and feel, based off of the magazine, the website, any marketing materials, etc. Give me a little sample about what the look and feel of this publication is. And then you'll want to cite any sources of that information. If you are worried about forgetting something for your research, please just use the bullet points as header sections. Your research counts as 10% of your grade and is worth 20 points in your project's overall score of 200. Be thorough. This will inform your design choices as you think about what will appeal to your target market visually. You must include at least 5 thumbnails as the other portion of Part 1. There is a template for you to follow, and you can find it in the classroom attached to the magazine research and thumb assignment. Use that and fill it out. Including the magazine description, there is an example of thumbs right next to the template, and I have an additional example here. As I said before, thumbs are for you to sketch out ideas and to play around with composition. It should give you a clear read from far away, and you do not have to be detailed in your sketches, but a thumb will be beneficial in helping you see what is a strong composition. If you don't have research and you don't have thumbs, doing the next step is going to be more difficult because I cannot give you art direction and feedback without those things, and your fellow students cannot give you feedback either, as we will be doing feedback on your thumbnails the day you turn them in. Nice thing about doing research is that if someone asks you about your design choices, you will probably have a rationale for the choices you made, and you can sound like you made informed decisions. Part 2 is your roughs. You will need to have 2. Each one is a cover and a table of contents. Though many magazines have 2 or more pages worth of table of contents, you only need 1. But make sure that there is enough content to fill the page and look complete. This is the part of the project where you would include your magazine subscription form. This would be the form for people to use so that they can subscribe. The form is entirely optional and not required at any step unless you want to have your work shown on the wall of the classroom. If you want to do this later in the process so you can get your work on the wall, you can. Part 3 is your actual files. These will need to be properly organized. Files and their organization is worth 50 points, so make sure that they are organized and named correctly. Make sure the files are set up for print properly. Use the checklist, because I will. You will turn in a zip file. Make sure that you provide a zip file and not some other kind of archive or compressed file. You can go to the summary for this project and open up the Google Doc and find the header, What to Turn In. Reference the picture there for a static version of what I am about to show you now. This folder has been extracted from the zip file and is what I expect. The digital folder has your timesheet and a list of where you got your images from. I did not really emphasize this in the last project, but I should have. We want to properly credit where we got our images from. The final folder is where your packaged InDesign file is located. When you properly package your InDesign project, it will create your document fonts folder and your links folder. This will allow me to open up your InDesign file without error messages. Here is the InDesign file. I'm on page 2 right now. I want to be on the cover. We'll talk about the table of contents in a minute. On the Google Classroom, there is a barcode generator. You will want to use it for this project. So when I open your file, I am going to go to your links, and I'm going to check to make sure that there are no missing links. There are no missing links. Next, I'm going to go to your swatches. Wow, look at all of these swatches. I'm going to determine whether or not those are all used. So all I have to do is say select all unused. And look at that, there are a bunch of swatches that are unused. We don't want those, otherwise you'll get points off. So get rid of those. All right, now that we've done that, I'm going to check on your separations. So I'm just going to take separations, view separations. So here I can see I've got my CMYK color, I've got my Pantone color, and if I turn off CMYK, you can see this is all the spot color. This is everything that's in this spot color. When I turn things back on one at a time, you can see I've got black here, and everything that is going to be utilizing black ink is in here. The darker the color, the darker, the more ink that's going to be applied. Same thing with yellow, right? The darker this color, or the darker the black in here, the more yellow is going to be applied. Same thing with magenta and cyan. And as you can see, when I don't have the Pantone color selected, it is white. So it has been knocked out of the CMYK. And that's how our Pantone colors are generated purely. And it's very nice that InDesign will do this for you. You don't have to go into those color channels and eliminate the color value from those spaces. InDesign does that for you automatically. That's just fantastic. Next, I am going to check on margins and bleed. So I'll just go to File and Document Setup. And the size of this project doesn't matter so much as the margins and the bleed. This is properly set. Say OK. As a quick reminder, bleed is the portion outside of the page. It allows printers to make a clean edge and cut. Margin helps us ensure that everything that must be seen is seen. When we put it inside of our margin, we will want to see those guides as well. Right now, that's hidden. Let's fix that. So to view our margins and our bleed, we can go to View, Screen Mode, Normal. So here you can see some guides that have been dropped in. This is our margin, and this is our bleed out here. So here's the edge of the page, and here's our bleed. So we can double check that everything that needs to be seen is seen. Is it within the margin? So here's our margin. This barcode is probably fine where it is. I wouldn't want to put it in any further. But, you know, our dragon, our Dungeons and Dragons logo, our title, all of this is very well, within the margins. Now that I've checked on this margin, I want to go to the next item and check on this margin for the table of contents. Now, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see this maybe a little bit better. All right. You can see our margin right here. I'll just click on the select tool here. You can see our margin right here. So only a portion of our 20 siders are sticking out past the margin. It's not really super important. There's a comma that's sticking out over here. There's really nothing outside of the margin that is important. You can still see our bleed, so that's all good. This is all good. So back to our folder structure. The Other Files folder should contain your Covers Photoshop file. If you have made a form, you should also include it here. The form can be either a PDF or a JPEG, like this one. Part 4 is your presentation. I was pretty easy on you guys last time. I'd like to see some branding and your presentation looking more like a slideshow. For example, in a landscape orientation rather than portrait. You can use Google Slides, Prezi, or whatever you want when doing your presentation, but I will need a PDF version of it. Make sure that you have all of the different things from your research included in here. You will also want to include some comparisons, what was there before and what you re-envision. If you do your mock-ups, you'll want to include those at the end, and if there's any sort of a slide accreditation, like this person used Slides Go for their presentation, you would want to include that as well. Part 5 is optional, which is why it has no grade. The magazine mock-ups, see the wall for examples, and subscription form, seen in a computer screen, can be placed in the Other Files folder. Austin may have further details on how he wants it from you, but for now, here is an example. I hope that helps you understand what I want from you for each step of this project and that it clears up any questions that you may have. Feel free to ask if you need anything further. See you in class.